Okay, Year 10, welcome to our second week of home learning videos. Before I go through these videos, we've had 3 lessons already. I just wanted to remind you of a few things, okay? Now, before we access these videos, make sure that you go on to Frog, look at today's assignment, and make sure that you copy and paste the link onto YouTube. That way you'll be able to access the link pretty easily, okay? Make sure also that you have a pen and a paper ready so you can at least jot down anything you need to do. The structure of these lessons will normally be just like you would be in normal lesson time. So you'd have your do now task. You will then have a few examples which I'll go through, and then you'll have your turn examples, and then you're going to have a worksheet to do. Okay, so just prepare yourself like you would for the lesson. Okay, make sure you got your pen, your paper, and everything ready. Okay. If you do forget, you can always pause the video, go and grab what you need, and then come back. Okay. Secondly, there'll be a worked quiz on Frog. So please make sure that you access Frog, have a go at the quiz, take your time with the questions, jot it down first, do your workings on a piece of paper, and then upload your answers. Okay, so that way we can check your work. And last thing for this week, guys, very important, is to make sure that we upload our work. So at least one question which we have done from today's lesson. Okay, so any part of the worksheet, you might want to take a picture of the worksheet that you've done, upload it onto Frog, and that way we can access it. Okay. Now I will email you on Frog, so please look out for your emails by the end of today. That way it gives you clear instruction as to what you need. Okay. Any questions, you're free to email Mr. Mooton or Miss Goodwin at our given email address. Okay. Right. So let's get on with today's lesson. Here are our objectives. So the first thing we're going to do is look at more of the problem-solving side of areas of rectangles. I'm sure most of you would have been familiar with the basics. Our second learning objective today will be looking at areas of triangles. And our third learning objective will be calculating missing lengths given the area. Okay? Right, so let's pause the video, please, and have a go at this do now task. Okay, welcome back. So I'll just look at the last one with you. I'm going to assume that most of us are okay with all of the other ones. So let's look at read the question carefully. All right, it says the area of this rectangle is 42 centimeters squared. All right, and as we've mentioned before, area normally means the inside. Okay. Now we know that the area can be found by doing the length multiplied by the width. All right, so that means to find one of the lengths, okay, 7 times x should give you 42. So therefore, the value of x will be equal to 42 divided by 7, which is 6 centimeters. Okay, you should put centimeters on the end, but I'm running out of room. The perimeter is the distance all the way around. Okay, so we should have 2 lots of 7 and 2 lots of 6. I would really like you to get used to doubling the lengths and doubling the widths. So that's 14 plus 12. And that should give us an answer of 26 centimeters. Okay? Right, I have just realized that I haven't given you the answers for the rest of these, so I shall do that now. So here are the answers to the rest. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so here's your date and title, so please copy that down. All right, so basically the area of a triangle. So let's look at key vocabulary, all right? So we know that, let's define a triangle first. A triangle is a polygon with 3 sides. Okay, so a polygon meaning that all sides should be straight, nothing should be curved. Isosceles triangles have 2 sides of equal length, so that should look something like this, where that is how we indicate an isosceles triangle, okay? And this is what we call the base at the bottom. An equilateral triangle has all sides the same. It's usually shown like this. And perpendicular is quite an important word that gets used a lot. What that means is that a straight line at a right angle to another. Okay, so if you just imagine something like this, looks a little bit like a road junction. So if I'm traveling along this road here, and I suddenly turn left, okay, then I'm turning at right angles. All right, this square is a right angle. All right, so our perpendicular height is always going to be straight and at right angles. Okay, right, so let's look at calculating area. Okay, so I want you just to think about, just for 2 seconds, the area of this rectangle. Now, counting the squares, you should realise that the area, I'm going to write this on the outside because it will get messy later. The area is 8 centimetres squared because there are 8 squares on the inside, okay? But however, what happens when we join 2 diagonals together, okay? So what you realise is that this shaded bit in particular is half of the rectangle, okay? So therefore, what you've got is half of the area. So the area of this triangle here, which I will shade in blue, would be 4 centimetres squared, which is half of 8. And this triangle here will be also 4 centimetres squared, okay? So if we half 8, we shall get 4, okay? So what this tells us is this, okay? If we take any rectangle like this with a given area, if we divide it by 2, we shall get the area of a triangle. Okay? So let us formalize this, okay? Put it in different language, okay? This is, the first bit, guys, is rubbish. Don't copy this down. I'm going to rewrite this underneath, okay? So the area can be found by doing this, okay? So we know, if we know what the base of the triangle is and its perpendicular height, we can multiply them together, base times height, and then if we half it, we get the area of a triangle, okay? Very important, guys, that we copy this down. You might also see it like this in some textbooks. Area, I'll just put A for area, equals a half base times the base times the height. That's another way you might see it if you've got some books at home, okay? But this is the one that I normally use, all right? I'll only use this top one for harder numbers, all right? But it's important that you're aware of both. So in fact, I would say You might want to copy down both. Okay. Right, so let's have a go at some questions. So can we copy down this example, please? Okay, so when we're doing a question like this, we need to be aware of what the base and the height is, okay? So if you look at this bit first, some of you might be tempted to say that 7 centimeters is a height, okay? It isn't, because as you can see, it's on a hill, okay? It's almost like if you just imagine a ball rolling down a hill, okay? It's not really going up and down, okay? The height should be 6 centimeters because there's a right angle here, and a height should go up and down like a lift, okay? So the height is 6 centimeters, and the base should be at right angles to the height, okay? So if I go down here, this bit must be my base, okay? So my base is going to be 8. So therefore my area is going to be 6 multiplied by 8, base times height, and then you divide that by 2. So 6 times 8 is 48, and when you divide that by 2, you should get 24 centimeters squared, okay? Let's not forget the units. Okay. Right, I'm going to now give you a question for you to try by yourself. So have a go at this question, please. Okay, well done for having a go. Now, just to make it clear that your base should be 12, your height should be 10. So therefore, to work this out, your area is 12 times 10, divide that by 2, and your answer is 60, I'm going to just correct this, centimeters squared, okay? Don't worry if you haven't put units. I realise that there's no units on this question, okay? Right, let's have a go at another question. Now, sometimes it's not obvious where the right angle is, okay? It's not always shown. The height is not always shown in the triangle, all right? Now, what you'll recognise is this, okay? Now, your base is always going to be along the bottom, going along like this. That is 6 centimeters. However, your height is a little bit different, okay? It's not going to be 10 because it's almost like something sliding down a hill, okay? We want to look at something that goes up and down. So if I join this corner to this, the top left-hand corner, I need to go across and then up and down like this, okay? So this is my right angle, which joins the base. So therefore, the height is 5 centimeters, okay? So your area is going to be 6 multiplied by 5, and then you divide that by 2, okay? So your area is 6 times 5, which is 30. Half that gives you an area of 15 centimeters squared, okay? And we double underline that, okay? Right, brilliant. So let's have a go at a similar question. This question here. Okay, now just to make it clear, your base is 7 centimeters, but 3 centimeters is at right angles, okay? So your question, should be 7. So your answer should be 7 multiplied by 3, and then you half it. So your area should be 10.5 centimeters squared. Okay? Right. Copy down this example. This one's quite tricky. Okay, so this time, because we got words, we're going to underline them. We know that the area of this triangle is 36 centimeters squared. And I know when we look at the definition of area, like we did a couple of lessons back, we're defining the amount of space inside a 2D shape. Okay, so we know the area of this triangle is 36 centimeters squared. Okay, now from earlier example as well, we know that if we take a rectangle and divide it by 2, the area of a rectangle, we'll get the area of a triangle. Okay, now if we were to go back to it, if I have to go this way, I would have to multiply by 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double 36 first. Okay, if I were to double this 36, I would get the area of a rectangle. Okay, so 36 times 2 would give us 72 centimeters squared. Okay, so therefore, to find out what x is, okay, now the area of a rectangle is basically base, what is that, pointer? Sorry, here it is, base multiplied by your height, okay? So something, okay, we already know that the height here is 8, so 8 times something must give us 72, okay? So the value of x is going to be 72 divided by 8, which is going to be 9 centimeters, okay? All right. Let's check to see if that's right. 72 divided by 8 is 9. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's how we would do a question like this. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a question just to have a go at. Okay. So here we go. So have a go at this. I'm just going to give you a slight clue. Underline some of your key words first, okay? Put the area on the inside. Okay, welcome back. Well done for having a go. So again, I'm going to double 12 to get to see what the area of a rectangle would be. So 12 times 2 is 24. Okay, and then what I'm going to do to find B, I'm going to do 24 divided by 4. So my answer, 24 divided by 4 is 6 centimeters. Okay, well done if you got that. It's pretty tricky, that one. Okay, there you go. Right, so the next question is a type of question that you're likely to see in an exam. And our last question would always be exam type questions, okay? So let's copy this down, please. Right, now when it comes to exam type questions, don't just rush through it, okay? So understand what we've got. So I will firstly start by writing down what the formula is. So I know the area of a triangle is base times height, and then you divide that by 2. So we know from this question, okay, we have to see, do we know what the base is? Okay, well, the base is going to be this bit here. All right, and it sort of links in with what we did yesterday. So we know that the total distance from this corner to this corner is 9 centimeters. And the distance from this corner to this corner is 4 meters, okay? So we need to see what we need to add to 4 to get 9, okay? And that would be 5 meters, okay? 9 take away 4 is 5, okay? So, and we also have to see if we know what the height is, okay? Now, height, remember, goes up and down. So the height is 6 meters. So therefore the area must be 6 times 5. Divide that by 2. So the area would be 30 divided by 2. So therefore that is 15 meters squared. Okay, let's copy that down. Okay, so I've got a question for you to try now. So let's have a look at this. Okay, welcome back. Well done for having a go. So let's work this out. So firstly, what you should realize is that this distance is your base. So your base should be 11 take away 6, which will give you 5 meters. Okay? And your height is 4 meters. Okay? So calculating the area, your area would just be 5 times 4, divide that by 2, and your answer should be 10 meters squared, okay? All right, guys, so you're going to now get a worksheet, all right? So practice these questions here. Pause the video, have a go. Okay, brilliant. Well done if you've had a go. And your answers to these questions are here. So please mark your work. Paying attention to the units. Okay, guys. So basically, here's the answer to the extension. Right. If you now go on to Frog, you should see a quiz. So please have a go at that. Also, remember to upload some of your work that you've done from today's lesson, okay? I shall